Three. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with the Future, a very special episode. I'm flying solo tonight. Dan, the man, is on vacation. Jason has the night off. So it's just a favorite returning guest. You recognize this guy as the core champion of the fastest growing wrestling organization in the country, Devotion Championship Wrestling in Salt Lake City, Utah. Welcome back, our buddy, Tombstone Jesus. How you doing?
Doing good, brother. Am I coming in all right?
Yeah, you're looking good. Coming in solid.
All right, cool.
Coming in solid,
cool.
absolutely.
Hopefully the network will hold out for us. Right, great to be back, bro. Appreciate the invite.
You're quite welcome. No, we got some things to talk about. First of all, wanted to bring you back for a couple of reasons. I promised you, we get you back come closer to September, so we're right around the corner. So let's see what's happened since the last time we spoke. We should remind everybody the last time you were with us, Tombstone, nobody was running, and you guys were just about to open up, I believe, in Salt Lake City.
That's right.
Yeah, and
nobody had run yet.
Yeah, you and Manny might have been like the first ones, I think.
I think so. I'm not exactly sure on that, but I don't know anyone else who wrestled in front of a live crowd before we were able to. So
yeah, and I think you're
goes to Manny there. I'll tell you what, guy never says die.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. A great promoter too, and great guy. Manny was with us on the show. Of course, Manny had to jump out to take care of business, but we'll get him to. You and I are going to tie him down to commit him for a show.
I'll get him in a figure 4 or something. We'll make it happen.
Exactly. So you're not going to bug out on us. No, man, he's a great guy. So listen, baby. Last time you were here, a couple of guys were just starting to open up a little bit. You see, in wrestling now, starting to take hold a little bit. There's some shows are happening. Of course, you know I'm in New Jersey. We haven't opened up here in Jersey yet. Not yet.
No, I think it really depends on what state you're living in. First and foremost, right there.
Tough here, brother. Yeah, we haven't seen a wrestling show here. Honest to God, we haven't seen a show here since February.
Oh, you guys are just starving out there.
Oh, you kidding me?
There's some online shows coming out, and I just suggest you guys dig into anything like that you can come across, because that's what I was going to say. A lot of promotions are kind of going that route. Even in California and stuff, they've been doing some online stuff.
But you know what I've noticed about that? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm really glad you brought that up, because I want to talk about that. I've actually gotten feedback from promoters that are running online shows, asking for my help, because they know that, of course, I did television and ran shows, and, asking for like, what kind of, input could I give them? And I'm going to tell you what I'm telling them. Stop running. That's what I'm telling them. Stop running.
Really?
Don't do online. If you can't do a show in front of people, don't do it.
Wow.
Yeah. If you can't do a show in front of people, don't do it, because you're killing your credibility. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your talent from making money if they're able to. You can't make money online. Tombstone, you know that.
Oh, yeah. No, I think all they're trying to do is just somewhat stay relevant.
Yeah. But, and relevant is, it's, I love that term relevant, Tombstone, because, relevant is a matter of relativity, what's relevant to one person is a waste of time to somebody else.
Right. Got you, brother.
Here's the thing, though, about that. As long as you're doing a live show, you can sell tickets and make money.
Right.
How do you charge someone online for a show in front of no people?
Yeah. No, it's tough. I it's tough. I've just been grateful that we've been able to work in front of a live audience. And if you go on YouTube, obviously you can't see the television show, but we tape about 5 shows every live show we have, which is once a month.
Yeah.
And so in that time, we're able to put out 5 half-hour shows. Now, the tickets aren't available to the public. It's a private event.
Sure.
There's only so many people that can be in the building. Everyone's temperature's taken. You have, groups of people can sit here and here and here. And so it's a whole different ball game. You can't put as many people in. You can't sell as many tickets. But tickets cost a little more, but you get a lot more of a show. And then also, there's really nothing else going on. I think I've seen some movie theaters are finally opening up as well, but people have been doing nothing for entertainment.
What are they getting in that building now for a show?
$25 a ticket's what it costs to come in and watch the show, and that's all ages, and people are happy to, and you get to be on TV for 5 weeks in a row, which is really cool. It's a fun gig, but that's just where we're at till we can get things back to where it was with the social distancing. So sick of hearing it and saying it.
I know. Don't get me started on that.
I know. We won't go that way, brother. But
I know.
So I've been proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, but they're not getting as many people. But the fact that you've got people in your building is a huge plus.
Yeah, you got to have somewhat of a live crowd. I mean, even when you saw WE and those guys started like having the people in the back that are in the building coming out and at least reacting to the matches a little bit. I mean, but let's talk about that. What do you make of this whole Thunderdome thing? What is that all about? I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. I think it's just more of, what else are you going to do at this point? I mean, it's hard to watch. I'm not a big WE guy. I watch a lot of old stuff online. I watch hours and hours of Georgia Championship Wrestling,
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I watched when I was a kid and whatnot.
Oh, sure.
But
and I should tell people, speaking of Georgia Championship Wrestling, I should tell people that Tombstone Jesus was a huge part of our tribute to Magnum TA episode. You were on that episode with Magnum.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that was an honor, man. I'll tell you what.
Wasn't that a hell of a show?
Yeah, I was watching him in action just this morning. So.
Yeah, it's funny. I could watch those old NWA Georgia Championship Wrestling shows and, till I make myself sick of watching them. But see, that's it. You never get sick of watching that stuff.
No.
I watched 5 minutes of WWE. I'm ready to,
it's flatter than hell without an audience. Yeah, it's just flatter than hell, man.
Oh.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to watch. The only thing I think, I'm an MMA fan. We had Dan Severn on the show, on our TV show a few weeks ago. He come out in June with Al Snow and stuff, and got to meet him. But anyways, MMA's been okay without the fans. Like, it's still somewhat entertaining. But wrestling, you interact with the fans. I mean, it's hard.
Oh, I hope
it. You know what I mean? It's hard to watch. It's hard to do, and it's got to stay alive. And luckily, they really never shut down. As far as
I hope
goes.
You saw the show that we did with Stephan Bonner.
Oh, I missed that one. I'm going to go back and rewatch it, though.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
I just had him here last week.
I'd love to hear what he had to say.
Oh, you're going to love this one. We've got Pat Militic coming on.
Jeez.
I've got Dan the Beast Severn coming.
Oh, yeah.
And I got the New York badass Phil Baroni coming on.
Oh, my hell. I can't wait, brother.
I'm going to bring it back to them.
Dude, I'm a huge MMA fan. I'm a geek when it comes to it. I swear to God, if I was a little younger when it became more of a sport,
You would have fit right in.
I'd have done MMA, brother. I tell you what,
man.
to have a doctor there and not go to jail, that's all I need.
I know, right?
So.
But you would have fit right in. Absolutely.
For sure.
So let's talk about the current product. You've got of course, we mentioned a moment ago WWE. You got a couple of groups that are still around. They're hanging on by a thread. Some of them, Ring of Honor, AEW. They're trying creatively to keep their audience from venturing too far away. So let me ask you. Let me put you in the booker seat. Let's play fantasy booking with Tombstone. If I give you the pencil and I say, okay, Tombstone, you've got my roster, you've got my promotion, you got my book. What's the first thing you do to WWE?
Oh, my hell.
That's probably what I would say.
Honest to God, I would figure out a way to get a live audience in there. Whatever it takes, man. I mean, maybe they need to come to Utah and start doing their shows out here, because it'd be a little more entertaining if they just had the crowd we have.
You know what I thought about?
That'd be it, dude. That'd be the first thing.
How simple this is, because you're on to something. Let me tell you how simple this is. They can have a live crowd tomorrow if they want, by doing one thing. And you're going to laugh when I tell you, but it's a stroke of genius. All they have to do is move outside.
Hey, there you go. I know.
They can do it. The weather is still good.
They had a FitCon convention. The boys all got to wrestle. It's up in Salt Lake. I couldn't make it. And believe me, I was butthurt over that one. But I noticed it was outside, you know, and big old FitCon convention. So, I mean, I agree with you. They, if they go outside, if that's going to fix it, then that's what I do. I mean, the talent's there, a lot of the writing's whatever.
Well, I'm a big fan of taking advantage of what you have available. I mean, you've got the weather cooperating with you. It's summertime still. You got to, at least another probably 4, maybe 5 weeks left of decent weather. Use it.
And even if it's 100 people, and look at those old WCW and those old Georgia Championship television audiences. There wasn't more than 100 people in that studio.
Yeah, they might have had 110 if you include the janitor and the.
Yeah, I mean, so there weren't huge crowds, but the crowds were into it.
Yeah,
and you need that. You need that. Sure. It's just a must with wrestling.
It's funny when we did our MMA show, we had Stephan Bonner here. And I was talking to him about that. Me and Dan, the man, were talking to him. And we said, wrestling, because, Stephan's also a wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that we said was that Stephan, we said to him, wrestling is the only form of sport, really, that you must have an audience in order to function. You can have a basketball game, football, baseball, hockey. You can do all of this stuff, really, honestly, without a crowd.
Right.
But wrestling, because it's crowd interactive, the crowd's the part of the show. Yeah, you have to have an audience. You can have an MMA fight with no audience.
Absolutely.
And guess what? Some people say it's better.
It's pretty damn entertaining. I mean, they're listening to each other's coaches and stuff. It's really interesting. But my favorite part about it is hearing that freaking crack. Oh, my hell.
And that's what Stephan said. Yeah. He said you can hear the corner guys. You can hear the gloves hitting. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like a private little blood sport thing almost. I don't mind I was surprised. I thought I wouldn't like it. The MMA things are the only thing I think's blown without a live audience. Everything else gets killed a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I think about home field advantage. That pretty much has died in any sport where they're trying to, compete in different places.
Oh, sure.
But with wrestling, I mean, goodness gracious, it's just crowd performer interaction. Yeah, it's tough, seeing these guys without crowds. So, we're
Yeah.
real grateful we're able to do it and be on TV every week and stay relevant. And I tell you, 2020 has just killed so many things, so many private companies,
Yeah.
all the way up to the top. But I'll tell you one company that's just been thriving. That's Devotion Championship Wrestling. And again, I just take my hat off to Manny for making this thing go the way they have.
Well,
really,
Manny's one of those guys, and we talked about it before. Manny's one of those guys that thinks outside the box. And because of where he's at, because he's in Utah, you almost have to think outside the box,
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, you guys are in Utah. You're in the middle of, like, Mormon country. And you're doing things that how and I said this to you before, how the hell you guys are getting away with this shit in Salt Lake City is like, I shake my head and go, God bless Manny, let him keep making money.
It's amazing, I'll tell you. And there wasn't even a company 2 years ago.
I know.
And believe me, wrestling here in Utah has been dead for years and years and years as far as the private companies go. Really, no one's done much. And, along comes Manny Levens. And, the pandemic's killed everything, but we're still on TV. Vince Russo's producing the show. Now we're tied in with Ohio Valley Wrestling. The school's tied into Devotion and Al Snow and everything else, and so.
Well, let me ask you a question then, Tombstone. How did you guys know that there was a market for wrestling? What were your indicators that said, hey, maybe we can like turn this into something?
Well, I think they've always had great wrestling fans out here, great fans, period, as far as Utah. And a lot of the out-of-state workers come here and they're like, holy cow, you guys' crowds are just great, and that's it. We got great crowds.
Though, I'm like amazed really to hear you say that, because when you talk about great wrestling places, you hear about LA, Dallas, Texas, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, right, in Florida, of course, Georgia. But Salt Lake City, Utah is not one of those places that comes to mind when you think of like a great wrestling town.
And it's red hot here, and they've known that as far as selling out WE shows and stuff and AEWs, they always get a good turnout here. And even when they started doing Comic-Cons in Salt Lake, like the biggest Comic-Con opener for one city was here in Salt Lake. They broke all kinds of records. And they're just really passionate out here. And they've been that way, from day one. So it's kind of been a hidden thing. And then there's never been a local company who's really been able to do anything and capitalize, up until now. So, but Utah's turning into a place for wrestling.
What do you make of this slow return? It's very slow, by the way. The slow return to full-time wrestling now. We're seeing, none of these companies have shut down. They're all still very active and very, ahead of the curve right now. Ring of Honor, AEW, WWE, New Japan, of course. They're all still ahead of the curve right now. What do you make of it? Do you think that they're too much too soon, or do they need to slow down, or what are your thoughts?
Well, personally, and this could get me in a little trouble, but I just think, up until now, I just think it's been overdone. I think there could have been some crowds a while ago. let's take some precautions and stuff. So at this point, seeing people starting to do whatever they got to do, and at this point, if you got to have some shield barriers between some seats or spread some people out or whatever you got to do, I just want to see more of that. I know it all depends on where you live and what's allowed for that matter, but there hasn't been anybody come, getting sick at any.
Yeah, well, I've said it before. Shows, You and I spoke privately about it, and I've said it privately, and I've said it publicly as well. And I live in New Jersey, of course. That's no secret; everybody knows that. But what people may not know is that we are still closed, basically, in New Jersey for sports events.
Yeah.
Even for empty arena stuff, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. And probably won't be.
That's tough.
For at least another year and a half, 2 years, maybe.
That's
if you
crazy.
listen to some, I mean,
that's
those
crazy talk. To me, that's crazy.
That's the talk being ballied around by, some of the newspapers and television stations. If you believe their information, and there's no reason not to, but unless something happens quickly between New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania, there hasn't been. Well, Pennsylvania, I got to rule that one out because they actually have had sports. But New York and New Jersey have not. Pennsylvania has at least had. I want to say hockey and baseball. Because I know that the Philadelphia Flyers are playing preseason, and the Philadelphia Phillies are, of course, playing the regular season. It's an abbreviated season, but still, they are playing live games. 2 empty stadiums, by the way, but, and then what do you think of this whole cardboard cutout shit? What's that all about?
I don't know. Again, I mean, it's just whatever they can do, but I just... to me, it's just gotten really ridiculous at this point. I mean, thank God the death rate's as low as it is.
Yeah.
But what the hell? I mean, that isn't, if I was told in January that we're all going to get this sickness, but the survival rate's 99.96%, well, big deal. You know what I mean? I don't see, so at this point, I know a lot of people are still getting sick, and sure, some people are dying, and it's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. And at this point, let's just do everything, take precautions. But I think we've shut down long enough, especially
I think so. I think
sporting events and stuff. Not letting people come out, and a lot of people get a lot of release from that.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people just need to get out and be productive again. Get back to doing what they do. They need to wrestle. They need to put on shows. They need to to get out and entertain. Let's be honest about it. Baseball is a sport. Wrestling's not a sport. Not our wrestling. It's entertainment. That's what we do. We entertain people.
Absolutely.
And we just need to get back to being able to entertain people, in a way that's, first of all, number one, safe, most importantly, safe. And number two, where we can get some live bodies there, to watch it and to enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, that's the biggest thing right now. And then look at all these little independent companies, that, I mean, let's face it, they don't make tons of money. The money they do make are from the small shows that they put on. And
that's another thing that you just pointed something out that's huge. A lot of these companies are dying because they've lost sponsor money. They've lost their whatever little capital they had is dried up. Again, putting your Booker man hat on. What do you do to try and bring the cash back in?
Right. Yeah. Again, man, we got to get that audience back there somehow. cardboard cutouts and digital faces. I don't know if that's the answer, but something's got to happen. Something's got to happen. I don't know. Something's got to happen. I just think,
Tombstone, you and I both know that a cardboard cutout or a digital face is not going to spend ticket money.
No, they're not going to buy any merch. Chances are,
no, they're not. They're not buying merch or T-shirts or, replica belts and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what our sponsor is doing. Our sponsor is keeping us afloat, and that ties directly into. First of all, let's have a word from our sponsor. That ties right into what we're talking about. Do you have sweaty balls or netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head so your head will function as desired. Enter the promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's Wrestling Future. That is our promo code. Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com. And Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls. It's the Manscaped.com 3.0. Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we. Now, let's segue back into a normal conversation from that.
All right. Hey, if anyone knows Manscaping, it's me, brother. So
I'm telling you,
that's good stuff. Good. That's a good.
Yes, Tombstone.
It's a good
Jesus
sponsor
is a
to have,
working
brother.
advertisement for Manscaped for sure.
It's true. It's true. So I once had a man cross shaved in my back. So get on the Facebook. You'll have to find that picture. You'll love it.
Yeah. So now we were talking about talking about getting people back into shows. You're fortunate. You and Manny are very, very fortunate because you have people coming back. Are the crowds, the smaller crowds, and you say, yes, they're paying a little bit more money to come in. However, here's what I'm always curious. Has the lack of crowd size affected the morale or the motivation or the attitudes of the guys working the shows? I mean, you work with a pretty stellar cast of characters that all depend on really loud, big crowd noises. Here you got like a handful of people, but are they doing their part to kind of boost the morale?
I was worried about that a little myself, performing in front of a third of the people or a quarter of the people we're used to. But I got to tell you, these fans are great. They are into it, and it's a lot like watching the old Georgia Championship. It's like I say, only 80, 100 people in there, but they're all screaming and yelling and happy to be there, and you can tell just when they start coming in the building, they're just so happy to be doing something again and coming to a live show. And, I mean, it's not open to the public. You do kind of need an invitation. And these people are happy to be there. So if you go on YouTube, you can see the last 4 or 5 shows since the pandemic. You'll see the people wearing the masks, and the crowd's a little thinner, but man, they're every bit as into it as ever. And so the energy,
I was going to say I've seen a couple of them. I haven't, I've of course been doing a lot of stuff with our show too, but I've seen a few of them, and they seem to be pretty receptive. For a lot smaller crowd than you're used to. But look, it's like you said before, you do the best you can with what you got.
Yeah, and like I said, the energy's there. You're getting the reactions. You're able to feed off of them, and no, it's great, man. It really is, and
it's kind of like an interesting thing.
Happy to be there.
It's an interesting thing, though, Tombstone, because they say history repeats itself. And I have to tell you that in the case of professional wrestling, it actually has repeated itself, literally repeated itself. Because I remember growing up, and you'll appreciate this. You can go back and look at the tapes. You'll understand what I'm talking about. They used to have the audience painted on the back wall.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's some stuff.
Part of that studio.
Stuff. Yeah, that's crazy stuff. But here we are doing it all over again.
Yeah, that is nuts.
It really is. So, so you have brought to my attention an amazing guy named Roman. I want to say Rosal or Rosell. Is that how you say his name, Mr.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Roman Rosal.
Rosal. Okay. And Mr. Rosal is a guy you know well. We're not going to tell people too much about him, but I will tell you this, that Tombstone Jesus is going to introduce you in the very near future to a remarkable guy named Roman Rosal. And without tipping the hat too much, he is a true American war hero. That's all I'm going to say at this point. But when you bring him on, because I don't want to tease people a little bit. It's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this. Just kind of tease them a little bit because they're going to say, oh, I want to see this now. But we want to have him on. And when we do, I want you to just like introduce him to the world and tell everybody who he is and how you guys met. And and I'm glad you brought him to my attention because he's a really remarkable cat. He really is.
Yeah, amazing guy. Privileged to know him.
And super into wrestling, too.
He's a wrestler. He's a pro wrestler, and he's doing some amazing things. And he don't know it yet, but I'm gonna be hitting him up. We'll get him on the show for sure. And looking forward to that. yeah, exactly. Right. Knows now. So heads up, brother. Yeah.
So it's funny because I'm flying solo tonight. I'm used to having Dan with me. Dan's on vacation.
Good for him. Where's he at? Undisclosed location.
Yeah, he's at a secret. He works for the government. So he's at an undisclosed location. They tell me he's on vacation. I don't know if it's a cover story or what the deal is, but that's all I've been told.
Right.
But I am told that I will see Dan sometime next week when he comes back, if they let him.
All right.
No, he's actually on a well-deserved vacation.
Yeah. What about Mikey?
Mikey is actually he's left the show. Mikey is doing his own thing now, and he's got his own interview show where he's interviewing people from his celebrity past. Mikey's a filmmaker.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so he actually it's funny because he did an interview a couple of nights ago. I watched it. It was a really interesting interview with an actor that you might know from the Geico commercial on TV. You know that insurance company called Geico?
Yeah. Was it Jim Rose? Was it a caveman or?
Yeah, well, he's got the guy that does the Geico commercial with the suit and tie.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually the guy's actually an actor and has quite an accomplished career. I didn't know about it. I just thought he was a commercial guy.
Right on.
But yeah, Mikey's doing a lot of his own film stuff now.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's just got he's got his hands full and
busy guy.
We're still friends, but we parted ways with the show. But we will bring him back from time to time. We talked about that. So he will come back from time to time. I've got Vince Russo coming back September 1st.
There's
and a very interesting show. There. Did you hear about this one?
No.
You're going to love this. You're going to pop when I tell you. We've got, remember Tiny Tim, the entertainer?
Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, guess what?
Wow.
We've got Tiny Tim's manager and best friend. September 1st, along with Vince Russo.
Oh, hell yeah.
His name is Stephen Plim, and he's written a book called Tiny Tim and Mr. Plim. And it's an amazing journey through the life of Tiny Tim and how this man, how he met Tiny Tim and how they became friends. And they were together for 25 years.
Wow.
An amazing show business friendship, and through his marriage to Miss Vicky on the Tonight Show, and all the crazy happenings in betwixt and between.
I forgot about the marriage.
Oh yeah, and she was a Jersey girl too. She lived not too far from here, right? As a matter of fact.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a Jersey girl, Miss Vicky. She was from Haddonfield, New Jersey, and Stephen Plim will be here on September 1st, and I will tell you what, if this man is a true, and I want to tell you something, Tombstone, I would really like you to watch the show. May actually have you on, because Stephen Plim is a remarkable guy, 40 plus years in the entertainment business, working with some of the biggest names in show business. Just a remarkable guy. He's a classic, typical, fast-talking Hollywood agent who calls everybody chickie baby and lets them snap his fingers. Let's do lunch, and I'll have my people call your people. He's one of those just a smooth talker, wonderful guys. The last of the characters.
Right out of the Rap Act. Nice. Yeah, that's old school there, baby.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And then we've got a real interesting show, Tombstone, on September the 3rd. Just when you thought they held out our best, we got one more. We've got George Anastasia. And a lot of people know who he is, but some people don't. If you don't know who George Anastasia is, he has written more than 30 books on organized crime and the mafia. And he is a noted mafia author and historian. So he's going to come on, and we're going to talk about the mob.
I'll be checking that out. For sure. That's going to be interesting.
Absolutely.
Get done with that show, you might know too much.
I don't know shit, brother. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. Well, listen, my friend. Let's get you to promote your stuff and see what else is going on in the world.
All right. Well, Devotion Championship Wrestling. Come on out to the shows in Salt Lake. If you're from Salt Lake City, you want to come see a live show, go ahead and message me. Tombstone Jesus on my Facebook. I can get you a seat and a ticket. Like I said, they're $25. And we record 5 TV shows. So come on out. You'll be on TV 5 weeks in a row. And it's just a lot of fun as far as that goes. Our Tombstone Jesus goes, guys, sub me on YouTube. You know, I got my comedy. I got my music. We got wrestling over there. Get over there. Hit me on the Instagram and hit me on the Facebook as well, Tombstone Jesus. And hit me here on Wrestling with the Future podcast.
Absolutely. The Gun Show.
Gun Show, baby.
Beautiful. We are definitely going to have you back. I got a couple of shows planned with you in mind. We got just a short show tonight. I just wanted to bring you back and tell everybody what was going on with Devotion and Tombstone and fill everybody in on what's happening with Dan the Man and Jason. Our buddy Jason, he's dealing with some family stuff right now, but everything's going well with him. So Jason will be back shortly. We'll have Vince Russo back. We've got, of course, Stephen Plim, George Anastasia, Matt Granahan will be back, the King of Connecticut. Along we will have Dan the Beast Severn, Stephen Bonner will come back. We've got the New York Badass Phil Baroni. We've got Pat Miletich. Hopefully, I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping to get, if he says yes, I'm hoping to get Chuck Liddell to come on the
hell
show.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
I've got all guns blazing on this
Bro,
one.
you got the names, brother, right there. You know, like I say, I'm
you, yeah.
a huge MMA geek. I cannot wait.
Oh yeah, me too. I love MMA.
Phil
And
Baroni,
I'd rather watch MMA than watch wrestling, to be honest with you.
You know, I catch myself
It's
watching a little more MMA.
Well, for my friend Tombstone Jesus, I'm Angelo DeCipio for Wrestling with the Future. Take care, everybody. Happy wrestling. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah.